out how many babies are alive because of the work birth choice has done. Well, my name is Sophia, Lorey, and I work for the California Family Council, where we fight daily at the Capitol in Sacramento to advance God's design for life, family, and liberty through California's church, capital, and culture. And we touch on issues like marriage and education. One of the main issues we fight daily here at the Capitol is life. So tonight, I want to share with you all what the issue of life looks like at our Capitol. In September of 2022, our Governor, Gavin Newsom, signed into law 13 pro-abortion bills. These bills are AB 2223, which prohibits investigations into fetal death after 20 weeks, even if a coroner sees evidence of foul play, such as drugs in the baby system and self-induced or criminal abortions. AB 1242 prohibits California law enforcement from assisting or cooperating with other states' abortion-related investigations. SB 1375 would lower the health standards for abortions by authorizing nurse practitioners to perform first trimester abortions without the supervision of a physician. AB 1918 sets up scholarship funds for medical students and loan repayments for graduates who commit to 3 years as an abortionist in California. AB 2586 created a working group to make recommendations to decrease barriers to abortion access. SB 245 requires all health insurance policies to cover abortions with no co-payments or deductibles. AB 2091 prohibits medical information pertaining to abortion from being shared with other states. AB 204 allocates $20 million of California taxpayer dollars to women from other states to travel to California to receive an abortion. And SB 1142 will cover the cost for pregnant mothers to come from out of state to California to kill their baby, including airfare, hotels, Ubers to and from the abortion clinic. And worst of all, California will cover the cost for your children to be babysat in one room while killing your baby in the other room. These bills were recommended by the California Future of Abortion Council, a group convened by Governor Newsom in 2021. And yes, you heard me correctly. In California, we have a Future of Abortion Council where they work daily to create pro-abortion legislation to make California the sanctuary state for abortion. This year in 2023, California legislators introduced further pro-abortion legislation, but this time directly attacking pregnancy centers. AB 710 seeks to launch a public information campaign against pro-life pregnancy centers. And AB 315, which would allow activists to mercilessly target pro-life pregnancy centers, all because these life-saving centers don't support the state's position on abortion. This means centers such as Birth Choice could be sued by abortion activists who claim that factually true statements about the dangers of abortion are misleading or false information. At California Family Council, we fought AB 710, AB 315 endlessly, with press conferences, letters of opposition, testifying in opposition to our state legislators, and countless call-in campaigns. And I'm so excited to inform you all that these two bills are dead. We celebrate this win, but we do fully expect they will bring back extremely similar bills next year. And we know the battle to protect the great work Birth Choice does to provide for babies and women in need is nowhere near over. Unfortunately, the the California legislature and our governor has prioritized abortion over nearly every other issue facing the people of the state. Over a dozen new pro-abortion laws, additional executive orders, and other mandates make California the most dangerous state for the unborn. And I tell you all this because it is extremely important that we are aware of the attacks on the unborn that our elected officials are making at the Capitol. But it is also extremely important to be aware that abortion is not a political issue, it is a biblical issue.
That's right.
Abortion is a biblical issue that this sinful world has taken into their hands. And to speak out on abortion and to protect life is not to make a political statement, but it is to be outspoken on biblical truth. And the Bible is extremely clear that we are to be pro-life. What I'm going to say right now, please do not let it offend you, but let it convict you. We can no longer be secret pro-lifers. This is what got us here today in California, in a state where, on average, 422 innocent and helpless babies are killed every day by abortion. We cannot be secret pro-lifers. Again, abortion is not a political issue, but it is a biblical issue. And you might be thinking, the Bible doesn't directly say the word abortion. And to that I say, that does not mean that the Bible is not tremendously clear on God's stance on the unborn. So, let's start with Genesis 1, which teaches that everyone is made in the image of God. This means every human being, born or unborn, is an image bearer of God and possesses inherent dignity. Next, the most well-known passage in the Bible pertaining to the identity of the preborn is found in Psalm 139, 13 through 16. In this passage, King David eloquently depicts God's involvement during his time in the womb. King David states, "For you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret. Intricately woven in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed substance. In your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there was none of them." In this passage, David refers to his unborn life as fully personal. The person in his mother's womb was not an impersonal fetus with no moral value. It was David, whom God was forming and knitting together. Then, arguably, we have the clearest affirmation of personhood of the unborn in Luke 1. At the beginning of this passage, the angel Gabriel tells the Virgin Mary she will bear a son through the power of the Holy Spirit. And the angel answered her, "The Holy Spirit will come upon you, and the power of the Most High will overshadow you. Therefore, the child to be born will be called Holy, the Son of God." Upon receiving this information, Mary promptly journeys to visit her relative Elizabeth, who herself was in her 6 months of pregnancy. Luke discusses this meeting in verses 39 through 45. In those days, Mary arose and went with haste into the hill country to a town in Judah, and she entered the house of Zechariah and greeted Elizabeth. And when Elizabeth heard the greetings of Mary, the baby leaped in her womb. And Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Spirit, and she exclaimed a loud cry, "Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb. And why is this granted to me that the mother of my Lord should come to me? For behold, when the sound of your greeting came to my ears, the baby in my womb leaped for joy. And blessed is she who believed that there would be a fulfillment of what was spoken to her from the Lord." The details from this exchange underscore the profoundly pro-life perspective of this passage. From the language of verse 39, there is good evidence that Mary journeyed as quickly as possible to Elizabeth after receiving the angel's message. Thus, she is very early in her pregnancy when she arrives at Elizabeth's house. In fact, many scholars believe Mary was in her first month of pregnancy, maybe in her first 1 to 2 weeks. And Elizabeth called her mother in the first month of her pregnancy. When Jesus was still in his embryonic state, Mary was already referred to as a mother. Also, John the Baptist leaped upon hearing Mary's voice. This is the evidence of personal human activity in utero. Elizabeth also refers to Mary as the mother of the Lord. In his embryonic form, Jesus was acknowledged as the Lord by Elizabeth. The prenatal Jesus isn't a faceless, immoral entity. Instead, he is rightfully revered as the Lord by both Elizabeth and her unborn child. Also, Elizabeth's choice of words in this passage is extremely important. When she says the baby in my womb leaped for joy, she uses the Greek word brephos, which is used to refer to her unborn child. This is the same Greek word used for children after they are born. The same word was used when Jesus was called a baby in the manger in Luke 2:16. Here we learn the crucial theological emphasis that lies in the fact that Jesus' incarnation didn't commence upon birth, but it initiated at the moment of conception. Lastly, Judges 13:3-5, Genesis 25:23, Romans 9:11-13, Psalms 22:10, Jeremiah 1:5, and Isaiah 49:1 clearly teaches us that Samson, David, Jacob, Jeremiah, Job, and Paul were all specifically called to their mission in life by God while still in their mother's womb. Undoubtedly, the Bible conveys a distinctly pro-life outlook through its affirmation of the unborn's personhood. And these verses are just a few of the many that shows us where God stands on the unborn and that we too should be pro-life. So, while our legislators and politicians have taken the issue of abortion into their hands, we must remember that abortion is not a political issue, but it is a biblical issue. Here in California, at the Capitol, California Family Council will do all we can to fight in favor of life. But due to the pro-abortion legislation that has already passed, the issue of life is not one we're always winning at the Capitol. So then you may ask, how can we protect life here in California? Is there anything we can do? And yes, there is. Lives may not be saved at the Capitol, but pregnancy centers such as Birth Choice is where lives are being saved day in and day out. By being here today, you have already taken the first step to helping children live. When California legislators are making it easier and easier to kill babies in the womb, it is Birth Choice that will give these babies the opportunity to live. It is Birth Choice that will partner alongside mothers and fathers in need. So yes, of course, we need to urge our elected officials to vote in favor of life. But even more importantly, we need to support Birth Choice. It is time we are no longer secret pro-lifers. It is time we get involved on the front lines. And it's time for us to be the light in the darkness. So while you're here tonight, take some time in prayer and truly think about how you can best donate to Birth Choice, whether it be your prayers, your time volunteering, or financially. Just remember, as Gavin Newsom makes it easier and easier to kill babies in the womb, your donation to Birth Choice is going to go towards giving a baby a chance at life that they deserve.